Yeah. I'm gonna do this one and I'll try boss rush real quick. That's true.
Come on, let's get to the extraction point.
This is not gonna be awesome.
They're on me!
Slow us down! That's up! Safe room! Better already. Enemy nomadic here! Mission's about to get real. Oh, you want that's the bomb! Requisition! On me! I'm in the safe room! We're all here! Alright, get clean and get moving.
Decontamination is mandatory.
All in the timing. What's the matter with you?
Man, that pouncer moved quick.
Decontaminating. Ejecting stem.
You almost done down there? I've got your signal. Raven is inbound. Acknowledged. On our way to the extraction point. All right. Look around for supplies while we can.
Yeah, there's gonna be a time where I'm just gonna start building my team out. I think, pretty sure once I get my new computer, then I'll be a little bit more hardcore into stuff. Now I'm just like laid back. It's what I learned in life, you know. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Nonsense, nonsense. Wait till you get everything and then do what you need to do. So let me get my computer and I'll make a push.
Hostiles on me! You're good to go. Good hit. There, our extraction point. Extraction point reached. Okay, feeling the hive. Get ready. Reloading. Oh yeah, you stopped it. I'm at the extraction point. Whoa, I want their attack.
Enemy hive neutralized.
Well, that was weak. I gotta be like, in a while. Well, I can't. I'm looking. It doesn't look natural. Like, you know, when you're with someone, gotta make eye contact for that little personal touch. You know, online it's difficult, man. I'm not used to it. I don't like it. People have amenity and safety. They could say what they want and just like dip out. Like, motherfucker, fuck over. People do that to me online. They'll say something and they'll like literally just take off. You know, I'm like, shit, I ain't. I can barely walk fast. It's like the antisocial stuff over here because I don't really encounter a lot of people, so it's kind of weird. Like if you're like talking about one thing and then all of a sudden like not even naturally bring up something else out of the blue and you're like, what? Talking about? It's like it's bizarre. And I was like, oh, I know not to deal with you ever again. You know what I'm saying? That's what you just proven. Drinking coffee, talking about coffee and shit. And then it's like, well, while I have you here, let's bring up, and all of a sudden it's like QAnon and shit or whatever. I'm like, man, get the fuck out of my face. Like, what do I think about this? I think you're fucking bizarre. I think you could just come up to me and talk to me about what the fuck you want to talk about. How about that?
Bombs ready.
It's about power. That's what it is.
Come on. We gotta figure out where the exit is.
There's nothing to do with the contents of it. If you can enforce a lie, then you have power.
They're on me!
Enough out of you! Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Dom, let's do this.
Hey, everyone! Secure the safe room!
Locked down.
Decontamination is mandatory.
Appreciate it.
I would say it's more influence, but influence is power, really, you know. And people are going to do actions based on that, you know. I believe this falsely, but I still make a move, and it gives you space
Taking it still.
to fulfill your agenda.
See you on radar. Your Raven is en route. Solid copy.
So have people believe this, and then there's actions, you know.
We've gotta be fast. Look for any.
So it's not just believing it. I think it's having those actions that's real power. So, like, so the actual attack on the Capitol, that's power. Which is, we can't call it that, so it's more like, it's a threat. So the connotation of power is ill-aligned with morality to extent because it would gain more following. So influence to do, I don't know, there'd probably be like a proper word or whatever, but makes it more threatening.
Using
Yeah, that's what I think. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, if like a group of people say together, this is something, right? And that's nice, you know. Okay, that's rumor right there, you know. That's just rumor mongering or whatever. But I guess what people discovered, it has to be totally extreme. You know, it has to be, you know, satanic cults. It has to be pedophilia. It has to be being a traitor for them to really make a move. To make an action, so you have to go extreme, you know. And that's why you have all these extreme things, so people act on it and make it unarguable. That's the key, you know what I'm saying? That person traitor, would you support a traitor? No. Would you support a pedophilia? No. Would you support a satanic cult member? No. That way, even though you know it's a lie, that's even more power because you're making that person, knowing it's a lie, still say yes to it and act on it. You know what I'm talking about? So it's even more of a threat. I mean, you gotta say, it's all quasi gang stuff from Jersey. And stuff that I use. It's like if a girl was talking shit to me, I was like, oh man, that bitch had AIDS. And then I'd be like, I want all you motherfuckers to say that girl has AIDS. And no one wants to touch her. All the guys that would fight for her disappear because no one wants to deal with her. And they know they don't. Half the people, 80% of people know she don't got AIDS. But the people that don't know her on the periphery be like, nah, I'm good. And that bleeds some of her, you know, whatever, so she'll never talk shit, you know? So they know better, you know? And it's like a guy, you know what I'm talking about? He comes at you and whatever, and he's funny, and he gets a following or whatever, and has a, you see the click starting to grow, whatever. So you mean that guy's a faggot or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And you just come down on him. Anything that could be perceived or associated with weak, you associate that person with. And that was back in the days where I was like hardcore homophobic and everything else like that. And, you know, and I'm a different person now. But that's what you do. You associate what you don't like with weakness or whatever. But you know the core group of people are not going to believe it. But it's the people sort of in that gray area that sort of know him. But like, man, there's enough people that say that, I'm good, so I'm not going to fight for that guy. And you bleed people off of him that, okay, now they'll come to you instead of him. And the people that don't know him, like, you know, say they're already like, nah, I heard that shit. You know what I'm talking about? So it's not an end all. It doesn't, you can't rely on that gaslight. You can't rely on that rumor. You can't rely on that lie. But it will do some damage. Enough to give you some room to maybe you could pull some people away and be like, man, yeah, come to real people over here. You know what I'm talking about? Not that shit. So, I mean, I seen it, I used it, and I understand it. It's about power. It's about influence, and it is totally has nothing but malice intent. So if you see someone doing it, wash your hands of it, walk the other way. I mean, you're not going to be able to change it. Time is going to be wasted. There's a lot of good people out there who don't use that bullshit. And the thing about it is, this is while you're getting into fights and you're stabbing and shooting. I mean, I got in a lot of like robberies and fights and everything, and I went to court. It's all in the court and everything, and I did time. Because a lot of my accident is from when I was like 12, 13, 14, incarcerated. So I don't really like to say a lot about it, you know what I'm talking about, but it's just something I just found out a better way. I went in the Marine Corps, but I just know that even if you are cool with this person, they'll look for the opportunity, to have their own agenda because it's about their agenda, not yours. You were to be used. You're like fodder to them. If you believe it, good, I could use you. You know what I'm talking about? If you get caught, oh well, there's another person willing to come up to me. And the thing is, like, it's not like I respect you for believing in it. I think you're fucking dumb. I think you're a fucking retard for believing in my stupid fucking lie that we all know is a lie, but you're coming up to me willing to believe it and pass it on. Well, you're fucking dumb. I'm not going to have you close to me. You know what I'm talking about? So it's don't deal with any of those people. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, wash your hands of it. Wasted your time. A lot of knowledgeable people out there that can help you and you can help them. That's what you want to stick to. And that's what and I'm lucky. As soon as I had a chance to not deal with any of that racist, gaslight, rumor mongering, deceptive, demonizing shit, just to get a little bit of something. And the thing is, like, you do all this shit and then you gaslight a lot of other stuff to boost you up a little bit, or where you don't really have something until you could get that, or sometimes you'll never get that, or you move over here, have a little bit of strength over here, and you don't have it over here, and so you can move shit over here and be like, yeah, I got that or whatever. Let me just make some moves or whatever. And so you're constantly moving and shaking or whatever, you know what I'm talking about, and gaslighting and offset you. But the core of what Trump did, because when you look at it, be like, oh, those fucking Puerto Ricans, whatever, they're all fucking bullshit. You know what I'm talking about? What Trump did was just make the whole foundation just fucking gaslight and bullshit. So, I mean, and we knew that. I think that's why he went after Puerto Rico. Because he just had to kick that fucking house of cards over and toppled or whatever. It's all built on bullshit. I mean, man, who you acting hard with, man? For real, are you serious? I mean, get the fuck out of my face. You know what I'm talking about? Come on. And so here I am just sitting here trying to go into real estate or whatever, you know. I can see the shit, you know what I'm talking about, but I know better to deal with. And if I call up and someone was doing that shit, I'll be like, all right, okay, cool. I'm like everybody else. I'm not completely immune to it, but I'm like, I'm not going to deal with you ever again in my life or whatever. That shit you did when you're young, or you don't know any better, but these people have never been touched by the law and still fucking do that bullshit. And wash your hands of it. If you hear that, if it's not a conversation, if it's not a real relationship, wash your hands, go away. Your time is better spent. I'm telling you, man, you'd rather find those few good people where you could rely on, talk to, confide in, help out, you know what I'm talking about, and that help you back or whatever, and just fucking deal with it. Granted, when you're online, you know, it's a little different. They don't know who you are and all this other shit, but still, the same thing matters. It's an extension of real life. But just be careful. Don't waste your time. I'm one person who lived one life, and I gradually joined the Marine Corps, decided not to do that shit again, and it gradually just sort of filtered out of my system. And now the military, the Marine Corps pays. I never had to do anything illegal again in my life. So I'm lucky. I don't have to do petty bullshit that's lie to your neighbor, deceive your neighbor, bullshit your neighbor, or whatever. I'm good, you know what I'm talking about? I could look to bigger and better things. Thankfully, because of the government, because of my service, because I was willing to risk my life and limb to come home in a fucking Ziploc bag in the Marine Corps, in the infantry, and now I can have a better life. But I can identify the shit, and I'll easily talk about people that are stabbed, shot, armed robberies, whatever, at will, whatever, but I'll never do that again. I will never. I don't need to. I literally have known, why am I going to walk in the store and get $300 when I can make that in a fucking couple hours? You know what I'm talking about? It doesn't make any sense. So don't tell me, well, we got to watch out. Motherfucker, you don't have to watch out shit. I'm never doing that shit again. It's stupid. Too much money out there doing the right thing. But I'll identify the shit on you fucking insurrectionists. Anyways, I'm out. Peace, tanks. I'll go off for a while. Trust me. Deuces.